everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about Chef's Kiss by T.J. Alexander. I got this off of NetGalley because that's where I've been getting all of my books recently.
I got it off of Edelweiss. Like the publisher messaged me on Edelweiss. And I was like, okay, yeah.
So this is about Simone, who is in her dream job at a, not a local, but like a famous chef's magazine. She writes the recipes for it. It's think Bon Appetit. That's kind of what we're talking about here. And so she's the recipe writer for this food magazine. And what ends up happening is they are losing money. They're not getting the subscribers that they need. They're like completely in the red. So they got to figure out how to start earning money again so that they can keep their jobs. So Simone and her coworkers have been tapped by she's the CEO, like the boss.
Yeah, I don't know if she was the editor-in-chief because it kind of sounded like they were trying to make her sound like Anna Wintour. But then I didn't know, was she the owner? Because then they were talking about shareholders. So that was kind of confusing.
Well, Simone's boss, or everybody's boss, basically, is said, okay, now you've got to start making videos because you're millennials, and millennials know how to, use social media and all of that to kind of get more subscribers. And Simone's like, no, I don't want to be in front of the camera, but she doesn't really have a choice. So she's got to work on filming and, helping with subscriber numbers. And along with that is she works in this test kitchen, and there is like the kitchen manager essentially has retired, and so they replaced that person with Ray, the new kitchen manager, who organizes everything so awesome. And now, while Simone has kind of fights with Ray, it's really kind of deep-seated crush, obviously, and so it's just sparks are flying, and working at this food magazine is not rainbows and unicorns like Simone has expected.
And I think it's safe to say, because it's on the back of the book, that Ray is non-binary.
Okay, I didn't want to like give anything away.
Right. Yes, but that is on the back of the book.
Okay. All right. Good.
So even though it's not actually addressed until halfway through the book, which kind of relates to something.
I mean, it was like really like halfway through the book. Like
it's like almost exactly 50%, which I could understand because like when Ray first gets the job, everybody calls them she, and then halfway through the book, she's like, no, they are, like, my pronoun is them, they.
Yeah.
So like this book, like there were positives and there were like some negatives for me, because honestly, based on everything I read, I was expecting like a really fluffy, like enemies to lover workplace rom-com. And that's not what we got.
It was less about romance. Like there wasn't much romance in this book. It was more about kind of navigating the workplace as someone who is non-binary, or as someone who, may identify as queer, or as something that isn't your, white man.
Right. And I think I would have preferred this book more if it was more from Ray's perspective, because Ray was a great character.
Ray was over the top. I don't know if I could have stayed in their head that long.
See, and I had Simone issues, like from the beginning, like everything, like Simone reminded me of like a character from Frasier without charm or humor. Like there was just everything, like at the beginning, particularly when she first meets Ray, like everything, like in her mind, she's like picking at everything. And like I had a hard time like keep staying with Simone.
I don't know. I like Simone. I felt you're right. She didn't have the charm. She kind of grew on you. Like at first I wasn't a fan of her, but like the thing is, she seemed realistic to me. Like to just kind of be a perfectionist and, trying to do everything. I don't know. I feel like I'm that way. So
I mean, yeah, I guess maybe if it was a dual perspective and I didn't have to always be with Simone.
Yeah, maybe the dual, because I definitely wouldn't want to stay with Ray the whole time.
But I also feel like the relationship was like a little uneven. Like they
It
went
was a very slow. It was a slow build, and then like, boom, and it was like there was no. I don't know. We missed the middle part.
right. Like something happens and Simone helps Ray with something, and I'm kind of like, even if you're just friends, are you at the friend level to do that? I mean, like, are you at the friend level for somebody to ask someone else? Like I don't even know. Like,
I would not be doing that for you. Just
right?
by
That's
the
kind of where I am, and like we're pretty close, right?
way. I wouldn't ask you to do that, and I
Right.
wouldn't. I'm
And
too
we like
squeamish to
vacation
do it.
together, and
Right. Like,
right, and like literally talk almost every day. And I yes, but I don't know. And then like the publisher and like everything, like the covers, like this is a romance, this is and I feel like there was like no romance until like 90%, and then it got
there was like one scene early on, but like, because like I could read this at the desk and not feel like
right,
some kind of way.
and then it got graphic, and then I was like, oh, okay, because like so like the whole book was going one way, and then I was like, oh, okay,
Here we are.
right. I was like, well then, um,
Usually that kind of scene happens,
throughout the book,
50%, like
right,
at least by 60.
right.
But
I can't remember what it was. I was reading
I
something like
think that
that, and it wasn't husband material, but it was something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna have to close the screen. Like I can't read this at work.
no, this was safe to read at work.
This was
No, the thing that kind of got me, because we recently read another book that was very food centric and like chefs falling in love and all of that kind of stuff and enemies to lovers kind of thing. It really kind of annoys me that their idols turn out to like save the day. They're like fairy godmothers, and it's like that is just so unrealistic.
I don't know, and I think maybe I would have. I didn't know that there was a scandal at Bon Appetit. It just somehow missed. It happened in 2020, and to me, 2020 is
A
like
lot of
the
things
time I
happen in
don't talk about.
2020.
Like I don't. And not just like the Sarah knows, not just like the globally cultural stuff, but I had a lot of personal
Yeah,
stuff happening too. So I was like, oh, and I'm wondering if that Love from Scratch plot was kind of, and
it
this
sounds like it.
and this relate a lot on that, and I totally missed that. And I'm usually all over like watching about a scandal. Um,
I think we're kind of at the point where we're ready to rate it. I think I would. I'll save that. I think we're at the point where we're ready to rate it. So I mean, right?
yeah.
Unless you've got something more to say. So our rating scale goes from 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it doesn't get a horn and is therefore a horse. Where are you?
So I think even though like Simone was really hard for me, like Simone, I feel like the overall message of the book, I'm gonna give it a 3 because I did, and you kind of talked about this before we were filming. I did like the little peeks into Ray's life that you got to see, and you got to see their experiences coming out non-binary, and like you really got to kind of realistic. Like I feel like the author very realistically showed how quickly a place can turn toxic, how quickly like these people that you thought were like your work colleagues can turn on someone, and I thought that was done well.
So I'm giving it a 3 because I would definitely read something more by this author. I think it was well written enough. I think that there were some convenience factors, and the fact that there weren't kind of romance scenes throughout definitely could have made it would have made it like a higher rating. So that's why it's a 3. But I also think you're right. It was a very realistic portrayal of like doing what you've got to do in the workplace, even when it becomes toxic, and kind of addressing the fact that, you don't always have to, there are different ways to fight, that it doesn't always look the same, that it isn't always like starting this grassroots movement to like take down everything, that it can be quieter and it can happen in different ways to get there.
I also kind of respect the fact that the author did include, you always see like when something bad happens, people are like, oh, just quit your job, or oh, just do this. Well, there are different times where the characters are like, I have rent, I need health insurance. I can't just like swan out and be like, you guys are horrible people. I quit. And I thought that was realistic. And I always appreciate when there's a little bit more realism in things like that. Because if you really are trying to see what the average person can't just quit their job.
Right.
I mean, I know like there's always this like fantasy of it, but no.
So, okay, that's where we're at with Chef's Kiss by TJ Alexander. We will see you around.
Bye.
Bye.